live, which let me share this to everybody because I can see that this did not share it anywhere on my tablet. So it looks like it's not being pushed around at all. So let me get my phone so that I can try to push this out to my audience. One sec. I appreciate everybody who's tuning in this morning. We're going to have one of the most volatile days, I feel like, in a very long time. We're going to go over every little key detail. We're going to say this in a nice, even keel tone. We're going to keep our emotion out of this, and we're going to try to keep the vibe at a pace where we can understand. Largest options expiration ever. So please make sure to hit that like button if you're tuning in. I'm going to turn on my tablet so I can see comments in just a second. But I want to give the audience the best chance to be able to see the content. I don't know if we're going to get anybody in here, if we're going to get a lot of people in here. Last night I was very surprised. We ended up having 125 people in here last night around 10:30, 11 o'clock on Christmas Day, which was spectacular, seeing that it was the second time we were back here. We were able to talk very deeply. We talked deeply about the potential of the dragon pattern that could be developing. We've talked about what we need to do in regards to push forward in this market, but there is zero question that downward volatility to start when the USA wakes up, there's no doubt in my mind that this happened at this exact time on purpose, because a lot of people waking up, they see green, they buy at 7:38 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. XRP sitting around $1.87, Bitcoin's around 88K, 88.5, and now all of a sudden, it's the same thing we talk about every single day in the USA. By the time we get to work in the USA, it gets to 6:37 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're getting through the dump phase, and then we start to see where the exact movement is. This today has been an exceptional pull down, because if we do end up coming up at all today, we've now taken out again some long leverage here. And if you're an option, or if you're a leverage trader right now, be careful. The volatility is probably going to wipe you out, especially if you're doing anything of extreme volatility, extreme leverage. It's just not a good combination today. But we'll get into this deeper. Good morning. 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Friday, December 28th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So, a couple things we need to watch just to start. We always have to start with the United States USDTD, which is Tether's dominance, because we want to see how it's how it's filling out. I know it was on the rise a little bit. It's got a rejection point up above that it could technically come to if it gets rejected, right around the 6.54%. It's been very volatile. If we break out of here, we could come up to 6.8 and then start pushing out ultimately. We speculated yesterday that if we're in this cup and handle, maybe to give us a little bit of this upward volatility if it does happen at all today, which is very speculative. It's a nervous energy around that kind of a move. The possibilities there. We have, wave 4 that we're trying to get into. We have the options expiration. We know Bitcoin around 94 to 95K would be a max pain level. That doesn't mean it goes up there at all. Sometimes it does the opposite. But I would expect when I say extreme volatility today, I would mean even if it looks like it's going down or up, expect the opposite to happen, and then keep flipping over back and forth. Because if you're going to get some volatility, you're going to need it from the down direction to push it up. And every time you push up, we're going to start to wipe out the lower levels, and it's going to be a very dangerous game. So we'll see how the options end up playing out. We'll see if the market just cuts, or if it ends up running up to those the expiration today. Silver, gold just continue to, if you want to say something puts a damper on crypto a little bit here, it's the volatility and sound money that's going to the up direction. So like we have risk on versus risk off. If you want to take an honest to God look, right now you've got gold up $48 about 50 bucks an ounce, 1.1% to 4,528. Mining stocks aren't doing good at all so far. They're starting off a bit slow. You've got silver up almost 5% in one day. You heard that right, almost 5% in one day. Up $3.51 an ounce to $75.34. In Shanghai, it's over $80 an ounce. Remember last week we were talking about the Samsung bought the silver at $69 an ounce from the Mexican silver mine, when silver was only at 56, 57. Now they look like geniuses. Now they're getting $6 an ounce off right now from that last upon agreement. They're going to have to agree on more at a higher price now. But this is probably one of the scariest days that you could ever have in crypto, whether you're going long or short. It really doesn't matter. That volatility is going to be so wide. And if we lose $1.81-ish, that's going to open up our eyes a little bit here. If we do lose that level, for some extreme volatility to the downside to start the morning before a push up. But with these options expiring, let me just go over this real quick so everybody knows what I'm talking about. And then we'll go into the dragon pattern if it ends up playing out. But it's not just Bitcoin, but Bitcoin's options expiring, it's huge. And I could go into the AI, but let's just do it like this real quick. So, let's see. So it did get up. Let's see. Because we cut that out now. So we have a price. He noted that Bitcoin needs to reclaim and hold about 90,500 level. You know what? I'm just going to go to the AI because then it will at least print it all out for me so that I don't have to.
Friday, December 26, 2025, marks the single largest options expiry in Bitcoin's history. Approximately $23.7 billion in notional value is set to expire, which is roughly half of the total open interest on major exchanges like Deribit. Max pain levels. The max pain price, the strike price at which the greatest number of option holders would lose the most money, is currently centered around primary max pain, $95,000 to $96,000. Current spot price, $86,880 as of this morning. Market dynamics and what to watch. Because
this thing here, you see all these puts? It's right around 85K. That's hedging their downside liquidity, but that's where most of the puts were put in 85. So just under the level we're at right now. So that's what we're watching for. Slow liquidity today. If we lose key support at 85 for the puts, I mean, it's going to be interesting. In the gap between 86 to 95K, it could prove that sellers are in control if this doesn't pan out in the up direction, and it could just show there's no upward volatility. This would be a major defeat for crypto if this ends up playing down. I'm just warning everybody. If this plays down this morning, it's a huge defeat for crypto because then we might have to come down in a wave 3 farther, which would put us in a wave 4 expansion to a wave 5 contraction that could very easily put XRP under $1. You heard that right. If this plays like this morning and we do not get any upward volatility, that's going to prove the bulls are out of demand. The bears are firmly in control here. And I'm not saying anything yet because I've seen this downward volatility on option days, where they try to take out the long traders, and then all of a sudden you'll see a 4 to 6 to 8% rally seemingly immediately throughout the day. So if this ends up playing down like this, we have a whole nother scenario to talk about. If it's playing like this, we have a whole nother bearish bias we're going to have to open up, and no one's going to be happy if this plays like this. It hasn't done anything yet. We're at even right now. But if it did play down today, and this ends up going down to $1.57 instead of breaking up and hitting that upward liquidity zone, I'm just telling you right now, that wave 3 expansion down or contraction down, maybe we're not done with wave 3 if this ends up playing down, and then we end up pushing down to $1.57 area, and then when we come out for expansion, maybe we only get back up to like $2. You know, so this is a very, 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 did I repeat, very critical moment right now. The entire market has got to absorb this right now and start pushing that upper liquidity boundary. Otherwise, we're going to look at expansion and contraction a lot different here in the wave 4 if this continues down. By no means do I think that it's a guarantee that it goes down, because I would expect extreme volatility like this to start the morning if we're going to try to shake some people out before the push up. But, you know, like I said yesterday, the day before, and the day before that, it's a very nervous optimism. We're trying to be positive, but optimistically. We're optimistic, but we're also very cautious. So we're cautiously optimistic that this could play out to the upside, with the full understanding that with what gold's doing, what silver's doing, that we have a very serious issue here with the way that smart money, with the way that sound money, and the way that people are pushing into risk on. It's not great. But on risk off, people are willing to shove their pieces into the middle. And that's because every single day, seemingly, you get a new catalyst for silver and how the demand. This is the complete opposite and contraction and contradiction to crypto. Crypto's losing that positive feed. There's no actual positive loop right now. So $1.79 if we want to stay in this wave, absolutely. But if we start coming down there, it's going to be a big problem. I understand we can still keep it valid by coming down there, but it would be a big problem if we come down there, in my opinion. Because we've got this inverse pattern set up. So I understand you can come to $1.89, but you completely invalidate that entire setup if you come down to $1. I'm just saying, you come down here again, this entire structure is invalidated. You can't afford to do that. I mean, I suppose you could, but I would invalidate everything we're seeing right here. This could be a problem if that happens. We need that inverse pattern and, in fact, that dragon pattern side of this to play out. And we can still look at it like we did yesterday because we didn't come down farther. But if we want this, here, let me take a new picture. If we want this to play out properly, and I'm just going to do the short side of the dragon. If we want this to play out properly, and we don't want to come down here, I mean, we seriously have to pay attention here, because this is the gatekeeper right now. If this is invalidated, this actual formation, we're in trouble. It's like, let me try to, oh, I made that too big. My picture's not big enough because I put it in the 4-hourly. Damn it. Hold on. I put this in the 4-hourly again, which is not the best way to look at that. This would be a better way to look at it in the daily. Although, let's go to a different chart to make it easier to see. Let's see. Which one did we use yesterday? All of my charts are so filled up because we're in such movements. This is my favorite chart right now. If we're going to break out into expansion, we got to stay over this area, which we're teasing right now for sure. On the button, basically. Let's use this chart. I think I could make this work. Let's try to do a little layover. I wish the tail was bent down, FYI, but it's not. Because this technically, it's not 100% because I don't have the right dragon that I used to have, but it needs to, this tail should be bent down. Like, this is forward, it should be bent and then swayed up. But I can't get it to fit that, so, with the way that this actual dragon is. Now, if we go farther back in the pattern, we can make something of it, but we can't get there yet. Like, if you look at it like this, that probably is the best way to look at this. In the short term, comes through the head, comes back out like that. It's consolidating down, and now if the tail pulls out, you know, that's probably how we have to look at it. Something like maybe up like this. But you can see how in the micro. Now, if you go into the macro, it fits in a lot too. But you can see the hump. Like, you can see the hump if it's going to play out. But the problem is here, if it breaks down and invalidates this setup, we're in trouble. I'm optimistic here, though. Cautiously optimistic, like I've been saying. Seeing silver up 4% is something. And it's funny because the mining stocks are telling you something's not right. It's telling you there's some kind of diversion going on here. So could that mean that a lot of money's going to find its way out of this sector real quick? I don't know, but the mining stocks, especially the silver miners being the way they are right now, it definitely tells me that this is a fake out to the downside, more than likely. Now, we can't guarantee that, but the way mining stocks are moving are telling us there's a bit of a diversion here. And the reason mining stocks aren't going up could very easily be that gold and silver is going to end up cranking down here as the day goes on. I would not be surprised if money found its way into crypto with these options expiring tonight as the day goes on. I would not be surprised at all. So if we can see a quick retake of 87 and push towards 88 by about 1 o'clock, that's going to be a real gatekeeper. If XRP can get back over $1.85, 86 in the next hour or two, it's going to be a real gatekeeper. So I'm very interested, too, creamy goodness, in the dragon pattern. I really am. No. You can't sell XRP for silver right now. That trade's already been missed. No offense. XRP is extremely oversold in the weekly. Now, to go into something that's extremely oversold in the weekly and practically getting oversold in the monthly, to go into something that's extremely overbought in the weekly and monthly is not a good trade. Now, if you want to do apples to apples and throw some of your cash sitting around into silver, no problem. But I would tell you vehemently, don't start trading out things that are way oversold into things that are starting to potentially top out, especially when we have an options expiration today. This move down right now, tailor-made. In my opinion, they turned the buys off this morning on the trading algorithm, and we'll see if they continue dropping it or if we're going to get this reversal at some point today. I would be very, very nervous if I was a short trader right now, and long trader if you're on leverage, but mostly I'd be very nervous if I was a short trader. I know it's looking good for the short traders this morning. I know everything gives that appearance. But for me, until it breaks that $1.78 for XRP and ultimately $1.75, I'm not willing to say it's a good apples to apples trade just to get out of this sector. But, to each their own. I'm not a financial advisor. But if you were going to trade out of XRP for silver, you should have did it when I was talking about it. Back when XRP was well over $3 and silver was under 30. I made that guidance for crypto to flip into gold and silver and mining stocks back then. Now to flip into it when it's having this run, yeah, everybody's going to look at silver and, oh my God, I need to get into this right now and sell everything else I have. It's up 5% in one day. Now, I always tell everybody, look at the gatekeepers. What are the miners doing today? The fact that miners are basically flat tells us that something's not right here to start the morning. I'm being dead serious. Something can't be right this morning. Unless miners start to pour it on here as we get into 11, 12 o'clock. But right now, when they open up flat as hell like that, it tells you that smart money isn't necessarily going into the commodity side. Yes, going into physical, but that looks like country buys, not retail. And we know that the countries and the big institutions aren't necessarily going deep balls deep into the commodities. So I always look at the commodities within the mining sector to be the gatekeeper of what gold and silver is doing. If gold and silver is down and miners are up, we know that there's some kind of negative or positive divergence with the miners. When gold and silver is up like this and the miners aren't moving, to me it tells me there's a little bit of a negative correlation, which means it's getting ready for some volatility or an extreme move up today. And with what I'm seeing, if we're going to go straight up, you're going to see a big move out of the miners if they decide to. Otherwise, we're going to get a correction in silver to where it comes down to 73 today, 73 and a half, and then you'll see the miners come down 3 to 6% if that's the case. There's not really any two ways around it. Honestly, there's not really any ways around this. It's either we're going to go one way volatile or the other way is going to go extremely limp. So I think this was a great time to do this live. I think it's a great time to have an open discussion. If you're a spot trader, it's definitely a great time to pay attention. If you're a leverage trader, hold on tight, I suppose. Because anything 15, 20, 25, you've already been crushed today by both sides of the liquidity. So it don't matter if you're short or long, it crushed both sides in the last 24 hours or so. We don't have much movement. XDC's up like 3.5. HBAR's up about 1.8. Other than that, you've got IOTA up 1.7, Algo up 2.6. There's nothing really major. You got Axelar continuing to shit on itself, for a lack of better terms. Looking like pure trash right now. If I was a fan of Axelar, I probably wouldn't be at the moment. Unless it rotates back down. But it might have this wick as an option. And pulling up. I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't be a fan. I'm just saying right now we need to see something. This volatility is horrible. And we know the downward fractal that could form out of Axelar. But, you know, we'll deal with that if it breaks down that structure. Don't have much movement here, about 3.5% on Linea, 1% on Band, Quant's 0.75% of 1%, just like Shiba. Nothing major. Rob says Bitcoin is going to come back up to 90K. Yep, it very well could. Plant Good Seas, thanks for being in time. Your second month of the Dusty House Crypto News says, cautiously optimistic, very much appreciate Tom's straight talk during these times. Any quant analysis? I can give you a very quick quant analysis for sure. Quant's trying to pull this wick back up. It was a great 2-hour pull down by Quant. Especially it didn't invalidate this double bottom. In fact, it validates it if it pulls up and makes another run back up. And then Quant we should be coming up here to 76.50, assuming that it can hold this consolidation. If not, I think it's pretty simple. You come down here to $70.73 and see if we can make another run at support and hold. The more times you make a run at that downward support, though, the more likely we could break down. Frankie Fresh, good morning. And thanks for being in town on 6+ months with the XP Predictor. I hope you and Janine are having a fantastic and blessed Friday. Janine, if you're out there, love you. I'm so glad that you're a part of this audience. And honestly, it's a blessing to me. Says, I'm waiting for people who get money for Christmas to put it into crypto today and tomorrow. Interesting. I could see that. End of the year, but you know, if there's one thing that everybody needs to take out of this, extreme volatility is exactly what it means. That means like how Ethereum was down 50, 60 bucks today after it was already up 60 bucks and now it's moving in the opposite. That means how everything falls and up and down, left and right, side to side. No one knows what's really going on. All you can do is kind of look at your metrics. Let me say hi to a few of you. Dan Marginal, good morning, along with Garbanzo. And Garbanzo, great information about that $1.81 if we come there. Yesterday we came to $1.82, so is that close enough? Today we came to $1.80. I don't know. I just know the longer that this market stays flat, the better chance it has to go up here. If Bitcoin can stay around this area and not collapse. Because what we do is we successfully take out some of that upper volatility, so... Over this entire month, Bitcoin's been within 0.5% of its high, where it's at right now. 0.5% is the movement this month. Not much at all. I must say, though, I really appreciated watching the playback last night with my calmer voice, which is why you hear me in a more even tone this morning. I think it had a lot more value. I think I wasn't talking at people. I think we were talking with each other. I think it was kind of like sitting around a fire instead of me being, I think it was more like, all right, let's take this in a real, honest approach. Let's do this emotionless, and let's be real about what we see. So I think it's a lot easier for all of us to come together and have a very good, good point here. This is the way I want to approach my lives, with this kind of a voice going into the new year. I don't want to be yelling. I don't want to be screaming. I don't want to be emotional. I'd rather be in your... Just here, we're talking together. I'm not in your face, business-like, and then we can break this down appropriately. Silver Days, good morning. Mark Caston, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. My Yard Now, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP Meteor. Joe Schmo, good morning. Joseph Euler and the Cannabis Podcast, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor. Appreciate both of you. Mosey here, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon Badge. Annie, welcome in. Annie Mae Creations, love, thank you so much for tuning in. Rob Clement, good morning. Mr. and Mrs. Stott, welcome in and thanks for being in town for 3+ months with the Expiration media and blessing me with your presence each and every day. It's a very, very, very good thing to feel. 30 train rider, Poppy Lou, good morning and thanks for being in town for 6+ months with the XRP predictor. Rob Clement says Bitcoin is about to turn up. There's some kind of feeling here if we can hold these levels. That's for sure. That is for sure. Crazy Paul, good morning and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So Bads with UK Phil. What's going on, mate? Lori Watson, good morning and thanks for being here, my love. I really appreciate seeing you here each and every day and putting the work in to try to stay ahead. Silver solid state batteries, yes. Those new, oh man, what Samsung is doing is pretty crazy and it's going to take a lot of demand. Let's see, Sola Jeffy, good morning. Creamy Goodness, 8158 says, I keep a record of particularly itchy place in my life. Today, one such place is proving to be kind of itchy that tells you to go out and make as much cash as possible to buy a future dip. That's what I'm feeling. That's why, whether this goes our way or not, we know our fail-safe if it comes below the improper supports to where we might have to bail, in the swing or short trade. Not the short to the downside, but I mean just like a short-term trade. We're trying to position ourselves for a volatile move here, and we're still above where we were positioning, so that's not what I'm worried about. We're still in the profit from where we've been trying to position the last few days to a week to two, but we're looking for that upward volatility before we get that downward contraction. So usually you have expansion before contraction when you do the Elliott wave. And wave 4 would be expansion. Now, the only problem is you might not be done with wave 3 contraction. And if that's the case, this is all for naught. And then you could come down to $1.57. And then when you come into wave 4 for the upward, you might only find yourself coming back into a small area. Or you might go down to like $1.40 or 30. And then you might find yourself only coming back up here. That's what we don't want. That's what we're trying to avoid here. Like how? Like we're trying to avoid very, very, very at a fast pace. But I'll come in here and tell you it straight every single day. I was thinking about, nope, I've already talked about that, Clarence. Yes, make sure that like button, Mrs. Stott said. We have less than half, 141 people and only 67 likes. That's kind of a kick to the throat. But, if you want to throat punch me, continue to not hit the like button. Let's see. Clarence Nichols, good morning. Zim, welcome in. Bearded Viking, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's under 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. Define's working on something, Bearded Viking, so that everybody can get your contact stuff. So that's actively in place right now. Sorry, I'm a little behind on responding to messages because of Christmas and stuff, but it's in the works. And I hope Mighty Marcus is having a blessed morning as he continues to fight the good fight. Okay. Zim, Tom, if one could only buy one ISO coin, which one should they buy, XRP or XDC? XDC is trying to break out and it's been pushing up here. If you look at it from that perspective, I think you're leaving out a key one in this talk. Because if you're looking at if you buy XDC or XRP, you're looking at the pairing. And the pairing, suggests that XDC is at a great value compared to XRP. The weekly's overbought. The daily's overbought. 4 hourly's oversold. But if you want to look at what's a better buy, if you look at XLM to XRP right now, weekly or daily's coming up through neutral. Weekly's massively oversold. I think XLM's a better deal versus XRP right now than XDC, ironically. It's flipped a little bit. That weekly suggests there should be major volatility from XLM versus XRP at some point here. Now that volatility could be we crash really hard and XLM just doesn't fall as far, but it remains to be seen. This is one of my least favorite days when we have options like this. Because the volatility is just, there's no real way to get your bearings. So, and I know a lot of people like leverage trading, and it's a very scary proclamation. I encourage you to do spot trading in these times. Whether good or bad, at least you're spot trading. Think of a 10x trade here. How about this? The average retail likes 35x. It's just proven statistics. I never understood it before, but I understand it more now. Because retail, if you don't have a lot of money, let's just say you want to buy 10,000 tokens of XRP, just for example, it's $1.83, which means you would need to have $18,300 to buy 10,000 tokens in spot. Imagine you have 500 bucks. You could do a 35x trade, yes, and get your 10,000 tokens, but now you've only got about a 2.5% leeway if it were to fall from here. Not great. Maybe it's a perfect opportunity because of where we're at. Maybe it would never fall through. Maybe it would never fall below that $1.75 or $1.77 area you would need to hold. And it plays out in your favor this time. But it won't every time. But that's what retail is doing. So when you see these up to $1.87 from $1.82, how it went last night to $1.82, then to $1.88, now to $1.80. Think of all the people on 35X that literally have gotten whitewashed, whether they're long or shorting it. It does tend to rhyme here a little bit. It's not. It doesn't not make sense. It actually is rhyming here why they're doing what they're doing. And with these options expiring, I'm telling you right now, like this volatility, I know it's slow at this exact moment, but this volatility is going to creep up and it's really going to rock a lot of people here in the next couple of hours. I'm telling you, you could see a 6 to 8% difference in price from what we see right now by 2, 3 o'clock. Is that going to be in the up or down direction? That's the question that nobody can really answer. We can only prep it one way or the other. I'm looking very closely. Dow's up 13 after slipping a little bit this morning. S&P's up about 5 after being down this morning. And the NASDAQ is up again after slipping down like 50 points this morning. It's up about 5 points. Russell 2000 is down about 17 or almost 1/4%. No, now it's 0.66%. VIX is up 1/2 of 1%, which we like to see the VIX. Like for me, I like the VIX have a positive reading if I'm looking for crypto. If it's negative in the VIX, I mean, a lot of times that ends up being weird. I don't really know how to explain it for anybody who doesn't know at this point. Around the world, I mean, nothing's really changed. Malaysia, fine, who cares? Crude's down, which I'm glad to see it down this morning. Remember, the lower crude comes, the cheaper it is for mining stocks to get the stuff out of the ground because their expenses go down. So that's the other thing that's weird this morning, that miners aren't really doing anything, but everything is in its favor. So we better see some upward volatility here with miners. Otherwise, it's telling us there's another problem deeper. Miners should reverse here. I'm serious. Like unless we're going to get a big reversal in gold and silver, we got to look at the contrarian part of this. Like, where's the money flowing? Hey, everyone, hit that like button on the way in. Consider subscribing and joining Tom's Army for the best technical analysis on YouTube. Every day you are not in the Telegram, you're missing out. Why wait? I unequivocally believe that is so true. So true. And thanks for being in Tom's Army 6+ months with the XP Predictor along with Crypto Plumber. Really appreciate that. And also being a very trusted mod in here and in the Telegram. MQ has the fibs drawn out right now, as some are saying in here. We looked at it yesterday too with MQs. Let's see. Yeah, this was on Binance, I believe. Binance dumped, and they had a huge amount of people that shorted all at once, and they colluded the market down. And the only reason you would collude down like this is if you want to take out upper liquidity. There's zero question in my mind about that. There'd be no reason to take that wick down that far on Binance if they weren't hunting now the short traders. They took out all the longs from all the levels. Think about it. Even at 2x coming down to 25x, you're done. The 25K. That's a ridiculous wick. So I mean, to me, that further emphasizes what they might want to try to do here. Let's see. I know we shared this yesterday by MQ. So that's down to, if we come to the 1, 2, 3. Oh, you redid it. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you're saying, so basically there's two ways to look at this. We're either done with the micro fifth wave, or we built and we're still pushing down for the fourth. I'm hopeful that we're not going to push down. I'm telling you guys, if we push down farther here, it's going to be a big problem. It's not going to be pretty. I don't want it to push down here because I know the implications here if it breaks this structure. And the implication is horrible. It's going to be a mess. It would be a mess. That's why, as much as we like precious metals, we're almost rooting for the fact that miners are telling us it's overbought this morning. And it was an overzealous preemptive move. And that maybe we'll come down to 73, 73.50, 74 for silver. Back down to 4,500. I mean, we need something. Ironically, though, I'm not afraid of crypto right now. Like, I fear the unknown because of the volatility, but I'm not afraid of it long term. Because I want to see, even if it breaks down, I want to see that volatility crash us down then. Either way, I don't really care. I prefer a move up, ideally, because I don't want to see those lower boundaries, because I know it's a scary place down there. But no matter what happens here, I promise you that we're going to guide ourselves in the proper positioning, and we're going to figure this out even if it goes down. Yeah, that wick is ridiculous. So ridiculous. Christopher says, thank you. I haven't been checking the markets out, so I thought I would check out Tom. I appreciate that, Christopher. That's a great vote of confidence to me. That you would come in here when you're trying to figure out the market. That I'm the first place or one of the places you look for information. Thank you so much, and good morning to you for blessing me with that positivity, my friend. Honestly. Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, everybody's name is changing. Christopher is Cowabunga. That makes perfect sense. Cowabunga's been in here for a long time. Since the earlier days. Oh man, you've been around for years. I'm glad to see that name in here. Cowabunga. Christopher now. Yeah, they changed everything on us, unfortunately. Sir Smokes, welcome in. Maybe formerly known as Sir Smokes a lot in the comments. It's crazy how everything, everybody's name changed. Zim, good morning, and says thanks for the detailed response, Tom. Appreciate that. You're welcome. I'm trying to do my best to fill everybody in, because it's hard to teach volatility, because these are not times that you would normally see with all these options expiring. We've never seen this amount of options in Bitcoin. That gap on silver was different to see with silver. It sure is. It sure is. How's the thank you, Tom and Define? Sorry, I'm behind on the live at work. Picked up an extra shift to help out. I'm glad that you are able to at least find a way to try to make more of an income here. Trust me, I've been working myself pretty hard here lately too, and I have to start a new venture too for similar reasons. Not because I have no money left, but because things are getting way more expensive. And with tea stuff, it's not the easiest, and I know we got to put in the work for him for down the road. So, I think I've got a good 25 years of good working, and I'm going to be doing this even past my 60s. This will be as long as YouTube's around and I can do this, I'm going to be doing this forever. So I'm going to be that person, if I live to be 80 or 90, I'm going to be doing this every single day. And if you're in your 60s and 70s, spend the latter half of your life with us here. As we get through, for me, I'm not in my younger years, I'm more in my middle term now. So, I'm in my middle ages. I'm veteran young guy now. Or I'm veteran young guy or rookie old guy. So you can call yourself veteran young guy or rookie old man. You're the rook now in the old sector. No, but I like veteran young guy. But I like this journey with everybody. I can't believe there's 150 people here this morning. I really feel like my low talking helps keep people not scared away, Julie.
That's spooky.
Can I ask you guys an honest question? If you're coming in here for the first time and you hear me talking like this, as compared to me being more loud and vibrant, are you more willing to stay when I talk like this? Because the last 2 days talking like this, my audience has gone up during lives big time. I started with 75 people here today. Now there's 150. Yesterday I started at 85 and we got up to 127 and nobody was leaving. So I'm wondering if I kind of feel like my voice, the way I talk right now, is more inviting. Some of you will stay regardless. You're not going to care how I talk, but like I'm just talking for like the newer viewers. Especially if you've been here from the beginning when you heard me yelling like crazy. Frankie Fresh says, Janine says yes. That's all I need to hear. Janine says yes, the lower talking voice definitely helps. That's Frankie Fresh's significant other. Yeah. They're a cute couple. Devin says, me and my lady say keep the spice.
Spice.
We'll keep the spice.
Well, according to the church, you're telling us spicy.
Yeah, according to the church, they sent me my envelope because I like to give them a little something, something when I go, hey, it's a tax write-off too at the end of the year. So, you know, it's not all without cost, but they put my name, Thomas Spicy. So when I fill it out, I always have to cross out Spicy and say I'm in fact Spica. So it says S-P-I-C-E-Y, Thomas Spicy. I don't know how they get spicy unless the church is trying to tell me something. Annie says, loud aggressive voice makes me want to leave, especially if I'm having a stressful day already. That is the part that I agree with the most. I often think about that when I'm watching this back. If I wasn't in a proper mindset and then I hear myself kind of yelling, I personally don't like to hear people yelling either when I'm kind of in a weird headspace because I need things to quiet down and I need to hear conviction and I need to hear just that calmness. I agree with that. Julie brings the people in. Tom, let her talk. Talk, Julie. See, they say you bring the people in.
I do?
Yeah. You want to say anything about our freezing rain outside?
It's yucky.
It is yucky.
My driveway's frozen.
I know. Our driveway is frozen outside and our car is frozen.
No, I can't go to my sister's.
We were supposed to go to her sister's, but not happening. Oh, I'm not saying there won't be some freakouts here from time to time, Tango, that's for sure. Thanks for being counselor 6+ months with the XP Predictor. Cody, thanks for being in here for your first time. I really appreciate that. Devin, good morning, and thank you and your missus for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XP 589 Moon Badge and being a very trusted mod in here. It's very important. Spicy Tom, I like Spicy Tom too. It's just he's gotta find the proper places. Frankie Fresh says, Tom, you sound more inviting when you are speaking like you are speaking right today or speaking today. I agree. That's what I heard a couple days ago when I was watching the live back and I was calm. I actually was more intrigued to listen to it. I don't need someone yelling at me through the computer. Don't we all get yelled at enough? That's kind of the way I feel. Rejuvenated Mrs. Old Tom. Old Tom's never far away. It's just we have to reinvent the wheel sometimes. My silver gains are kind of offsetting the XP losses in a way in real time. Sure is. It sure is. That's one of the weird things because even if the portfolio in crypto doesn't look great, I mean, silver just, Julie, silver's up 5% right now, 5.3% in one day. To put it in perspective, every 100 ounces of silver you're up about $385 for every 100 ounces. So if you have 100 ounces of silver, you're up $385 today. So like I look at it and I have 800 plus ounces of silver that I've diligently put together over the years. Gold, for every ounce that you own, or for every 10 ounces you own, you're up about $627. For every ounce, $63. Whew. Yeah, so we're definitely being offsetted by those prices. It's good to see oil continuing down. We've talked about oil with the perception that we have. At some point in 26, it's not going to continue going down, so we really need this to keep piling down here a little bit. Rudy, you measure your silver by the pound. Excellent. Out of curiosity, I'm having a brain fart. How many ounces of gold are in a pound of gold?
I like this cup.
Gold is measured in troy ounces.
I know it's measured in. Okay, so you need 14.5 troy ounces for 1 pound. I thought it was like 50. Let's see, what was the comment you like, Julie?
The cannabis pack.
Oh, my sleep app has Calm Tom voice But my morning alarm and spicy combo. I like that. I like that. Your sleep has this voice, but when you need to wake up, you bring in loud Tom. I really do like that. That's a good way to phrase that, honestly. Is anybody else kind of weirded out right now the fact that gold, silver, mining stocks aren't really doing much? Goro's up 3.5%. The gold resource company leading the way, ironically. But the rest of it's kind of speaking like all the smart money's going into gold and silver, but the mining stocks are on the outside looking in, which they will be on the inside soon. I mean, this is a breakout in the making right now for Dolly Varden. It's just got to get over that repeat. What I wouldn't give today for a little bit of volatility to find its way out of the commodities into the very volatile crypto sector. I disagree with that, Marty. I disagree. You're going to get the value from it. Right now, especially, if you go take some silver and try to sell it, you're going to get a lot of interest. A lot of interest. You might not get what you paid for it because you have to pay over in spot. But, and if I'm being honest with everybody, gold and silver bullion, you're not trying to sell. That's your permanent store of value. That should be your permanent bank account to stay with the times of inflation until you need to pass it on. Or if you're at your death's door, basically, and you're in despair, that's something that should be passed on generationally. So you're not looking to sell it. That's why, it's not really a good indictment of, hey, gold and silver is going to make us rich. No, it's only going to expand what you have and make sure that your value stays. It's not something that's crypto, on the other hand. The reason people like it is because the space can make you rich if you buy properly. The only problem is there's so much volatility that I'm telling you, you guys are going to see it today when it looks real straight and calm, and then all of a sudden we're not at these prices in a few hours. There's no way around it. Either we're going to have a big drop or we're going to have a big gain going into this option expiration. Sitting right here doesn't really do any good. We're in no man's land for the options right now. So, am I comfortable here? No. Would I rather be past this day and, into another trading week? Yeah. Because I've seen the contrarian view of these when they don't pan out to the top side, and now it comes down to 79 or 80 in a quick flash. Not what we want here. Because if we take the quick flash down, that means the way up is going to be brutal. I'm telling you, it's going to be brutal if we have to go back up after. Trey runs wild. Good morning. Calm equals peace. Amen to that. I do agree with that. Hey, we just got our 100th like. Is that the rain and stuff hitting right now? Holy crap. It's going to get really icy.
This would have been nice.
What's the temperature right now? Oh, it's only 32? Yeah, it didn't get warmer, did it? Yeah, this is going to be bad. You can already see the ice everywhere. Is that why we're not seeing a lot of traffic driving around right now?
I saw some Zalaki bridges in this, I guess. I saw
Wow.
Stay away from the Zalaki bridges.
Scarlett may be overstaying another night at her aunt's house tonight, huh? It's really bad. Although Poppy's
I
gonna be
trust
there.
Poppy, so
I don't trust anybody in the ice.
well, I'm just saying. I've driven with Poppy.
Doesn't matter, it
Bad
only-
weather my whole life.
It only takes one slip off.
I trust him over my mother.
Well, that's
when
without
it comes to
saying.
driving.
Let's see. The Cannabis Podcast said I introduced my niece and nephew to rare coins and dollars over Christmas. I love it. I love it. Tom, Marytime Matthew, good morning, friend, says, Tom, do you think as time goes on, many of the cryptos will go to wayside and only 50 to 100 tokens will end up? Absolutely. I don't know if it'll be only 50 or 100, but pretty much every crypto we see out here that's not utility-based goes goodbye-bye in the next couple of years. We don't know the exact date, but they will go goodbye-bye. Real talk. They're going to go goodbye-bye at some point. Man, this is just... You could cut the tension with a knife right now in crypto. The good news is like Algo up 3.4% again today. That's been paying dividends here. We bought it back at 10.7-ish. And that's actually one that's been doing pretty well for us. We bought it down here in this rotation a couple days ago. It's like 5, 6, 7 days ago now. But we were trying to play the run back up to this resistance, and now the good news is we're trying to overtake that resistance. This would be our next push. This is a token that gives me faith that like XRP and some others are just a little bit behind. Epic gives me faith that maybe they're just a little bit behind. Seeing Lania bounce up like this is a good sign, in my opinion, because it's very volatile. At least it bounced around, and we're starting to see that separation. Well, it's come up from 593, now it's at 687. Can we get that next push? Because this next push would be the 7 to 10% push across market wide for crypto if it comes. I would rather not see the 7 to 10% drop across crypto. I just know what ends up happening. I just know what ends up happening. But yeah, I absolutely agree that non-real world assets, like Define said to Maritime, non-utility tokens, and you also have to remember we're going to have these AI tokens that'll work their way in. So we have RWA, ISO, IoT, AI, and we also have, don't forget, the privacy tokens, which some can say are data tokens, but the privacy tokens like ZBAC. Believe it or not, Shiba is a privacy token, ISO token, starting in 26 privacy when they do the upgrade. MQT has great information on that if you ever listen. But that's something that's the truth, and it's very undervalued. I mean, just looking at mining stocks, man, it's like 2 weeks ago, we talked about how, yes, you could take a shot with crypto because of these options and things that are going to come up in the wave 4. But the safer play was mining stocks, and they're up 15, 20, 25% at the same time that crypto is stuck. I have faith, though, of what could happen here today. Like, I have conviction. Need to go, I'll jump on tomorrow, or if you do one tonight, later to find. Christopher. I'll just call you Christopher in here because everybody can see your name. I more than likely will be back tonight. With these options expire, I will be back tonight more than likely. I know we're here over 50 minutes already this morning. Still have a few more for this morning's live. But yeah, when they pass the Clarity Act, we'll mark the top for crypto. I mean for silver. I don't hate your observation, at least for a short time top. I'll be right back, guys. I gotta make my vitamin real quick. I'm lacking it, and I can feel it in my body because I worked out. And I haven't ate since 8 p.m. last night, so I gotta get something to help restore my muscle until I can eat my protein in an hour. It'll take me 2 minutes to do this. Yeah, I know. Pouring out here. Oh yeah, there's some thick ice out there in spots.
Huh?
Very thick ice in spots.
Yeah, it's spotty, but it's there.
It is there.
Huh?
It is definitely there. Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. I just I had to take that vitamin. It's just a mix. I have like L-theanine, vitamin C. I have my NAD, moringa. I have, well, for the men, the prostate. If you're looking to keep the prostate, saw palmetto extract, especially the older you get, that should be your alternative. Whatever the big pharma gives you, that's the herb of nature for your anyhow. What else is there? There's a lot of stuff actually. It's like 7 or 8 different things. I like the liquid drops, so I don't like to take like pill forms or anything like that. Bitcoin back to positive. XRP's moving up slightly here right now. Yes, please stop selling your bullion. That's a generational hedge against inflation. It's not for me, it's for my kids, kid. Exactly. Exactly. What Bearded Viking just said. That's why I've never sold an ounce of gold or silver bullion in my life. The only thing I would do would trade silver for gold when the ratio comes into our favor. Jordan says, thank you for this tone. It's a plus. Yeah, I've actually been in this tone for a couple days now, and I really appreciate it, to be honest. I think I'm just going to be like this forever. I like the calmer. It makes me feel better. It makes me feel like I'm putting the information across better, too. And then my own personal emotions I can keep in check. We don't have to shovel rain. True. The only problem is there's ice underneath right now. Like Julie's car, like our car is just covered in ice. The seat where you would sit down, it's all covered outside in this ice. Yes, sell the paper silver would be the idea. That would be the idea. But I'm going to get going here, guys, because my son wants to hang out. Come here. You want to say goodbye to everybody? Come here, Titi. You want to say bye to everybody so Daddy can shut this off? We're going to go hang out, everybody. You say bye to everybody? Say bye. Yeah, say bye to everybody. Look. Look, T. T, look, right here. No, not the control. Look. You want to touch this? You want to show everybody what's going to happen today? Say, hey, everybody, look. This is what's going to happen. I'm a little sensitive right now. Say, we're going to say bye. Bye. Gonna get you. Okay, gonna get you. We're going to go. Ready? Bye, everybody. I'll see you guys later.